This is Pinky. He's a male. He's available for adoption. He's pet of the week. He's a very loving cat.
Hang on, please. Come here. Pinky.
Pinky.
Pinky. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Just disconnect this from the go.
Okay, rule number 1, do not mess with Pinky. But rule number 2, cat bites can be a big deal. Let's get into it. Even though dog bites get a whole lot more attention, I think everybody's afraid of dog bites. Believe it or not, cat bites can also really cause problems, especially infection. In fact, cat bites actually become infected more often than dog bites. Now, why is this? A cat mouth is so small. How can that possibly cause any problems, especially when you compare it to the mouth of a Rottweiler or something? Well, the reason is because of a cat's teeth. Even though the teeth are very small, they're also very narrow. So just like needles, they actually push bacteria deep within the skin and soft tissue. It's like you're injecting the bacteria into the skin. And this can lead to infections very quickly. And especially because the wounds are usually quite small, there's just a little opening in the skin. It doesn't take much time for the skin to heal and then end up covering the wound, trapping all that bacteria deep within the skin and soft tissue. This then forms an abscess, which can spread to form cellulitis around the area. That's an infection in the skin, and it can very quickly get out of control. And unfortunately, these are not at all uncommon. In fact, there are over 400,000 reported cat bites every year in the United States. And this figure probably underrepresents the actual number because a lot of times people are bit a little bit by a cat or a kitten. Maybe they don't think it's a big deal. They don't take the time to see a doctor about it. So I think the 400,000 probably underrepresents the actual number of cat bites every year in this country. So how can you avoid becoming a statistic yourself? Just another unfortunate cat bite case. Well, I guess you could avoid cats. That's probably the biggest thing, but cats are all over the place. There are tens of millions of households with cats in the United States. I think that's another reason for the high number of cat bites is just because we're around cats all the time. But the thing to keep in mind is that most cat bites are not from household pets. They're more often from stray cats, in particular stray female cats. I don't know why that's the case. So with that in mind, it's always good to be very cautious when approaching a strange cat, a cat that you don't know very well. Even if they seem friendly, they can quickly, as we saw in that video in the intro, very quickly turn on you. Another thing you can do is avoid interacting aggressively with cats. Even if you think you're just playing around, pushing the cat around when they're on their backs, bellies up, you can put your hand in the belly to give them a good belly rub. Yeah, sometimes they might not appreciate that, or even if they do, maybe they're just playing around. Very quickly, you may find your hand to be on the receiving end of claws and teeth. And even if it's not a strong bite, keep in mind that those teeth are very sharp, very thin. It doesn't take much force to break skin, and anytime you break skin, you risk infection. So with that said, let's say you're being careful around stray cats, you're not playing aggressively, but you still end up getting bitten by a cat. What do you do? Well, if it's just a small bite, maybe just leaves a little mark on the skin, maybe you can just watch it. But if there's any surrounding redness, if there's swelling, and especially if you notice swollen lymph nodes or fever, you want to seek medical attention right away. Keep in mind, these cat bites can very quickly become infected. Also, if it's a stray cat that you don't know, or a cat that's maybe behaving erratically, you got to worry about rabies. Yes, cats, just like dogs, raccoons, and bats, can carry rabies. And rabies is a disease that has no cure and can be fatal. So long story short, for any significant cat bite that breaks skin, you definitely want to seek medical attention. So what to expect at the doctor's office? Well, they'll clean the area very carefully, and if there's concern for infection, it's pretty likely that you'll need a course of antibiotics. But if there's fear of an abscess or a more significant infection deep within the skin in the soft tissues, this might even require a surgical intervention because antibiotics alone may not be enough to completely resolve an abscess. You got to get rid of the infected material first. So in summary, cat bites can be potentially dangerous, but if you're a cat owner, chances are you probably feel like it's worth the risk. And let's be honest, the risk is pretty low, especially with a cat that you know well. The odds that you're going to get bitten in a serious way, serious enough to lead to infection, quite low. So this video was not to scare anybody. I think we have more to fear from stray cats approaching stray cats in the street. That's where a lot of these cat bites can happen. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you found it informative or at least entertaining in some way, feel free to hit the subscribe button there or check out another video here, and I'll catch you guys next time.